Welcome to another review. It's Josh from Mr. Creep Show 9. This film's from 1988. I'm going to get right to it. It's an entertaining, meant to be humorous, gothic horror comedy film is how I describe it. There's much humor. The dialogue's sharp in terms of witticism. It's so late 80s in terms of style, cinematography, and clothing attire. So, set in Southern California, you see palm trees everywhere. There was like countless horror films in the 80s that were just filmed in California. You don't see that much nowadays with how permits to film in California are like skyrocketed. But, so it's got that hardcore 80s feel, and like I said, I'm going to get right into it. There's nothing gravely horrific about it. There's nothing severely sinister. It doesn't really get that. It does get dark and horrific, but it doesn't push the boundaries. And it's meant to be like a humorous fun, and that's what you get. So it's watchable in terms of that. Now let's introduce the players and what's going on in this. There's a group of friends. They're full of personality and character. The main two characters are very familiar faces. Zach Galligan is the main male character protagonist in this. He was the lead in Gremlins from 1985. And the female lead is a scream queen that everyone might recognize, is Deborah Foreman from April Fool's Day. So, their group of friends, they kind of have complex relationships. They don't even start off as lovers in the beginning. And you'd think that it's a one-day event, one trip to the wax museum, but that's not it. It takes course over the week. So the first night they go there, this wax museum, they're all in college or whatever, and it just pops up amid palm trees and sororities, everyone, out of nowhere, out of thin air. And David Warner, the English actor who's been in so many villainous roles, from Titanic to he was in The Omen, and so he is the main boss and owner of this wax museum, the curator of this wax museum. He invites the girls over, and obviously the theme of his wax figures is monsters, and they're the legendary cliche monsters that you see like in everything. They got Phantom of the Opera, they got vampires, he's got werewolves, he's got demonic babies. So they go through it, they go on the little tour. Hold up, I know you guys want me to talk about the midget. That's what you guys came here for. I'm gonna give him his time right now. So he's the host. He answers the door and he's like, "Welcome to the Waxwork." And he's just really creepy, and he's reminiscent of Tattoo from Fantasy Island. Actually, come to think, he's like a mixture. He's like Tattoo from Fantasy Island with like the face of like the cat lady that you'd see at the grocery store, who's got like a grocery cart full of like canned cat food, and the rest of it is like all sugar. So he's not even featured that much in this. He answers the door in the opening, and then he's pretty much absent until the very end of the film. It's like the midgets he isn't featured that much. It's like there's like a union for munchkins in Hollywood. Like they have restricted time limits that they could film. They got rights like anyone else, and they're gonna exercise those rights. Jump back to the movie here. In the museum, they enter the Waxwork version of the Twilight Zone. And behind the veil of these figures, this is the whole thing. They could step into the reality of those figures. So the blonde, bitchy girl joins the vampires. The elegant vampires in a bloody feast. And then the other guy steps into a werewolf world where they come alive, and these skits are just like so silly. I mean, they take them seriously, but I don't. I mean, the filmmaker might have taken it seriously, but I sure as hell didn't. So his morbid works of art, and the two, Deborah Foreman and Zach Galligan, they get out of there, and they're like, "What the fuck's going on? Where are our friends?" I'm beginning to worry about them. We better do some investigating for the whole movie. And so the investigator shows up, and David Warner is just such a deviant fuck in this. And they do some research to where they find out he's like a dabbler in the occult, and he's got this eternal kind of mortal youth where he looks like a 50-year-old, but he's really like over 100. So they have to face their demons. They're like, we're gonna take this guy down. We're gonna be some characters that take some action. So they get their asses in there, and in the end, all the figures just instead of them entering that realm, well, they do that, and then they bring back all the figures into the Earth's realm, and it's just a complete melee ensues. It's just so ridiculous. It's like a Pirates of the Caribbean type of battle where there's just absolute rabble and chaos. There's evil babies squirming in cradles. There's zombies like throwing hooks at each other, and there's saber duels. And then in the end, like the house goes down in this inferno, as if you didn't see that coming. It's like, oh, who would have thought that a wax museum was so incendiary? And in the end, they escape with their lives. Oh, Tattoo gets his. That duplicitous, beguiling motherfucker. He gets thrown into this parasitic big blob and eaten alive. Deborah Foreman throws him in there, and it's freaking hilarious. It's like he shows up for the first time since when he opened the door to host him. You don't see him that much, like I said. So he gets eaten alive. He gets his, alright. Karma. The oldest form of religious thought. Karma, baby. He got his. Anyway, so did David Warner, of course. So there's a sequel with Zach Galligan. Deborah Foreman didn't come back, and it takes off right where they let off at the end of this film. It comes in a double feature film on a DVD. I have it. I'm not going to throw it in, because why waste my effing time? Anyway, this was JBM from Mr. Creepshow 09. Click on the channel for more horror videos, and there's a new review every Saturday night. So if you're bored, you don't have a date, just have a drink and watch one of my reviews. Thank you. Comment, request a movie you want me to review. Meet me. I'll talk. I love talking horror, and thanks for watching. I'm out. Bye-bye.